All right, man. We back. Mercy Sports Talk. We in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Detroit 101 episode. Detroit Lions 101 episode 5. We're gonna talk about Damon Snacks Harrison, basically quitting on the Lions and saying it was mutual interest to separate. Danny Amendola re up with the Lions, and also we're gonna close it out or talk about free agents want to play in Detroit for Matt Patricia. So I do appreciate everybody for checking in. Once again, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All that information is in the description. Just hit the drop down box to touch the title. All the links there. Email there as well too if you need to get in touch with me. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or video request. Best way to donate to the channel is share the video, but Cash App, PayPal is in the description as well. But yeah, man. Get into it. The Lions and Snacks had a mutual split. I believe all that crying and retirement talk there's a way to get out of Detroit. I think Harrison at 32 years old wanted out of Detroit. There's been talks about Matt Patricia not being a player's coach, and Detroit previous to Matt Patricia had two players coaches in Jim Caldwell and Jim Schwartz. All right. With Matt Patricia, it's even been said that him and Matthew Stafford don't really get along, and Stafford isn't a Patricia guy, but they've grown to, I guess, be forced to comply with each other here in Detroit. So that's something to talk about. Michael, what's going on? Ryan, what's going on? But with Harrison, I don't think he wanted to be here from the beginning. Remember, he was traded here to Detroit from New York from a 4th or 5th round draft pick. I just don't think he wanted to be here. I think Patricia wore down on him. I think Patricia with the grueling practices, practicing outside for dome games, and Patricia is just not a good guy, okay? He's arrogant. He's Bill Belichick-ish without the Bill Belichick resume. Now, we know Bill Belichick, his first stop in Cleveland didn't go as well. He did some things different in New England, and he made history. He may go down as the greatest coach in the NFL. Vesh Star Win, what's going on? Appreciate the love. Okay? But he got to change something around because this ain't the market to do it. And New England wasn't the market to do it. Even though New England made the Super Bowl in the 80s, they made one in the 90s. They lost to the Bears in the 80s. They lost to the Packers in the 90s when Brett Favre only Super Bowl win. And they wasn't a premier organization, but usually that Boston, New England area, it's usually they want those teams to do well. The Red Sox, the Celtics, got the fresh seafood there. They want that area to do well. It's a huge sports market in America because it's a high Caucasian population there. So they usually want them to do well. But in Detroit, it's different. It's a perception about Detroit that it's a rundown city. It's terrible. But most people get here, they actually love being here. And I say it all the time. You don't hear most athletes complain and cry about amenities being in Detroit. You got Canada, you got Chicago, you got Philly, you got New York. You got, it got everything right there. You got amusement parks, you got casinos. Most people come to Detroit with money. Obviously, if you're playing in the National Football League, you should have a nice amount of money not to have to live in Detroit unless you choose to live downtown, that they love it here. I think Snacks Harrison didn't want to be here because he was tired of losing. I think he was tired of Matt Patricia, and he knew they wasn't going to put a winner here. Now you ask, why did he take the 1-year contract extension? I don't know why. I don't know if he thought that the team would be more of a winner this year. He thought they would turn the corner this year. But the facts of the matter is he no longer wanted to be here. In my opinion, he quit. He quit after taking the money. And then he used retirement as an excuse to try to get out of here. He was never thinking about retiring. I'm telling you that right now. He never took retirement serious. He just wanted to retire from the Detroit Lions. And he probably was calling him like, hey, man, you going to retire? You coming back? And he probably like, I just don't want to be in Detroit. Could y'all trade me? Could y'all release me? I want to be able to control my own destiny. And Bob Quinn probably was like, You don't want to be here. We're not going to keep you here. And unfortunately, now you have a depleted defensive line. You have Flowers and you have Deshaun Hand. Okay? Now you have to, find depth. And it came out on 97.1 The Ticket. Not only did they say that Matt Stafford wasn't the Patricia guy, they said A'Shawn Robinson wasn't the Matt Patricia guy. So don't expect Robinson to come back here. So at the end of the day, what is a Matt Patricia guy? Is it Kyle Van Noy? Is it Trey Flowers? Is it just any New England reject or anybody that, used the restroom in New England in the Patriots facility? What is a Patricia guy? Because it seems that nobody on this team is a Patricia guy. He got rid of Quadre. They're going to get rid of probably Darius Slay. They got rid of Snack Harrison, which they handpicked Snack Harrison. Let's not forget that. They handpicked Snacks. Either Snacks wasn't a Patricia guy or Patricia wasn't a Snacks guy. Aaron Choi says, Patricia won't change his ways. Hopefully we target the Chiefs head coach. Eric Benenemy from Colorado. Eric says he'll play next season. Yeah, no, he got cut. He'll play somewhere else next season. He got cut. Hand stays hurt. Robinson was so trash, so he won't be missed. So you look at what is a Patricia guy? And what it sounds like to me is somebody that comes and do their job and don't complain and do what Patricia says do. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that used the restroom in New England in the Patriots facility. Because you look at all the guys, they got the turnover rate is high. It's like working at a piss poor job and they don't really care about the employees. You look what this roster was when he inherited this roster, when Bob Quinn inherited, all them dudes gone. You look across the offensive line, it's a total rebuild after he rebuilt it from Rick Wagner, TJ Lang, Graham Glasgow, that's his guy. Ragnow's his guy. Dow, Travis Swanson, I believe. I'm not sure if that was a Quinn guy. I can't remember. But Dow, Wiggins, and Decker was all Bob Quinn guys. He struck out on all those guys, potentially, if they don't bring Glasgow back, instead of Ragnow. Marvin Jones was a Quinn guy. Kenny Galladay, Quinn guy. Amendola, Quinn guy. Hawkinson, Quinn guy. The tight end from Pittsburgh, whose name I can't remember, Quinn guy. Bo Scarborough, Quinn guy. Tyler Johnson, Quinn guy. Kerryon Johnson, Quinn guy. Only guy on that offense that ain't a Quinn guy is Matthew Stafford. You go defense, where everybody goes, so you're looking at Hand and Flowers, Quinn guy. Coleman, Quinn guy. Rashad Melvin, Amani Orakwe, Quinn guy. Coleman, Quinn guy. Slay could be gone. He could be last of the Mohingans and the Mayhew guys. Glover Quinn, ran him out. Will Harris, Quinn guy. Tracy Walker, Quinn guy. Quadre, they ran him out. So, like I said before, he done turned over the roster. And if they continue to keep him for another 2 years, he'll turn it over again. And he ain't produced one Pro Bowler. And Kenny Galladay got in on a technicality because somebody couldn't make it. The Pro Bowlers that's been making it has been Darius Slay. And he did draft Jamal Agnew, who made it as a returner. Mister, what's going on? But for Harrison, I don't really blame him. When you get up there in age, everything hurt a little bit more when you losing. You know what I'm saying? When you winning, everything feel good and back good. If Tom Brady went 5-11 last year, I'm telling you, he probably retired. Everything would be hurting a little bit more. Ankle, tailbone, chest, head. Everything hurts a lot more when you losing. Snacks is probably looking on being on a championship contender team. And if he goes somewhere else, he probably going to be a dominant run stopper. And I'm not mad at him because we can look at him and say, did he succeed or did he fail in Detroit? That's for you to determine. 8 games the first year here or the first half season year, he shored up our leaky run defense when we didn't shore it up after Nada left. This year, he was non-existent. And does that go hand in hand with him holding out at some point and not being in shape? Maybe not getting the money that he wanted? Think about big fellas. If you let big fellas miss camp, they going to come in out of shape, hurt themselves, and you probably throwing your money into a pitless well. But, for Snacks, I like him. But the thing about Snacks was he was a 2-down lineman. And it's fine. You need those guys. You need guys that can stop the run. And, you really, on a known passing down, you really can go out there with 4 defensive ends across your defensive line and try to rush the passer. So I liked him. He was older. He was one of those guys you put on the team when you just feel like you right there and you about to make it over the hump to be a playoff team, or you're going to need to make it over the hump to be an NFC contender or be a Super Bowl contender. The Lions wasn't there. So it wasn't Snacks' fault. There's nothing that Snacks could have done. We seen Ndamukong Suh, Sean Rogers, Luther Ellis, Robert Porcher over the years, anchor the defensive line, and it's just not enough. Nada. Anchor the defensive line. The defensive front 7 is a unit. The defense itself is a unit. You can't have a good player here, a good player there. No, you got to have a cohesive unit. It's one. You have to have multiple talented players that fit together. And Deshaun Hand, like somebody just said in the chat, he can't stay healthy. So, for Snacks, I wish him the best. Not sure where he's going to go. San Francisco, Houston, New England, Miami, wherever he goes, it's good for him, but he didn't have enough hero support around him, if that makes sense. So, we'll be watching what he does, but I'll get to the chat. Man, why don't these players stop complaining and play the damn game? I also think we need talent over need. I definitely agree. The thing about it is, one, he didn't ask to be here. He got traded here against his will. 2, I think at some point it stopped being about the money. It sounds stupid. He want to win. And I do think when you hear a bunch of grown men complaining, even if it's guys that leave like Akeem Vallis or Chase Billingsley or Glover Quinn, who was a stand-up guy, and that was the most telling guy that left the organization for me personally, that turned on Matt Patricia and Bob. When you hear all these dudes complaining, all right, if it's one guy here and there, then you're really not worried about it. But you got a group of grown men complaining and leaking. And then my first sign of Matt Patricia was not going to be a good coach here. And he still could turn it around. I doubt it. But it's when the media jumped down his neck. Now, they had no problem with Jim Swords, okay? The media. I'm talking about the local media, Free Press, the News, 97.1, those guys. MLive. They had no problem with Jim Swords, right? They had no problem with a black man and Jim Caldwell. They gave him a chance. But as soon as Patricia got here, it kind of was like eating something on an upset stomach. Either run through you or you throw it back up. And the media instantly threw Patricia. Anything they had on Patricia, they threw it back up. They brought up the old rape case he had. They brought up players didn't want to practice for him. He was practicing them too hard. He was wearing them down. They practicing outdoors for dome games. He always late for meetings. He was chewing out players after the game and all the stuff that he did. It was instantly reported. Now, this wasn't, I don't like Martha or I don't like the Lions organization type thing. This was a Patricia thing. This was things that we never heard leak out about the Lions before. No media member has ever, even Ryan Marinelli, we need our pad level, we need, even how much he was hated. Even when Rod Parker asked him about his son-in-law being on the staff, and it was a very inappropriate question to some people's opinion. Matt Patricia has been rejected by Detroit media. They have been trying to take him out since day one. Now, that has to be a player thing, and it has to be a personality thing. Nobody in the Detroit media likes Matt Patricia. So when people say the players are complaining and they crying, so is the media about the guy. If it's one or two players in his first 2 years, but you're talking about knowingly, it's about 5 or 6 players that came out and spoke out against him. Anonymously, it's probably about 15 or 20 guys that's probably talk shit about him off the record to the Athletics, to the Free Press, to the news, to like. So the media and your own team is against you. So I don't think it's crying and complaining about Patricia. I think once you get multiple people saying the same thing about him from multiple phases of media and the player level, I think Matt Patricia's actually just a shitty person. Really. I think he's really an arrogant, pompous asshole. You know? Mr. J. May salute. I think the only player left for Mayhew was Slay and Stafford. And I think he said Dime Mokes, this long snapper, and Matt Prater. So what's going to be Snack's excuse if he goes to a contender and still loses? I mean, if you go to Miami, let's just say Miami, I'm just saying hypothetically, we know they're not a contender. At least he in good weather city losing. If you go to the New York Jets and get his ass kicked, you in New York, you're not in Detroit. If you go to the Rams and get your ass kicked, you in L.A. So, I just truly think, now if this was like an isolated incident about Matt Patricia, and it was just a player or a group of players that talk bad about Patricia, I probably would be like, okay, stop complaining. And I've listened to people on Time to Time when 97 won a ticket. His first year when he was having them practice outside, I was listening last year, I think it was 2 seasons ago. And this guy called in and said, oh, these players are just lazy. They need to just work harder and stuff of that nature. But it's not the norm in the National Football League. You hear Richard Sherman talk about it. You hear Calvin Johnson talk about it. You hear all these people saying that this organization don't treat people right. And at the end of the day, the Lions need a total makeover. It's just not a Quinn and Patricia thing. It's a Ford thing. They need to treat their players right because this is not a hot destination. I lose in Miami before I want to lose in Detroit. Because if I lose, guess what? I'm walking on the sand. I'm in a beautiful city. If I lose in New York, hey, I'm in New York. Some of the best, cuisine you can find. If I lose in LA, I'm in LA. It's different losing in Cleveland, losing in Detroit, losing in Indianapolis, losing in Minnesota, losing in Milwaukee, losing, in places like that. It's a different type of feel. If I lose in Dallas and it's warm outside and I got all these amenities and all these access to these country clubs because of Jerry Jones, I'm going to be happier losing in Dallas. So when you in this type of market, you have to be a player-friendly market. And Matt Patricia is making this team, this team that had 2 player-friendly coaches. You know what I'm saying? You had 2 player-friendly coaches before him. His successor, his predecessor, Jim Caldwell and then Jim Schwartz, they was player coaches. And every time you see Darius Slay, you see Snacks coming in to get extension. Like, nigga, I've been here for 6-7 seasons. And I've been here through thick and thin. I've been the best player. And you pay somebody else before me? You giving Joe Dowd extension before me? That's how you look at it. But let's move on to Danny Amendola. I did not like the signing of Danny Amendola. I said it before and I said it again. But if they didn't win now, Mo, I understand it. You bring him back for cheap. He was pretty good in the slot. I think he could have been more effective in the slot had Hockenson had a better rookie season. I thought they would control the middle of the field, which Amendola did, and he did get injured like I predicted. But the Lions offense is just crazy slow. You know what I'm saying? The offense is just very, very slow. And you see the wave of the NFL. We look at the last 4 teams that was left. Kansas City, explosive offense. Tennessee, Derrick Henry, explosive. A.J. Brown, explosive. The tight end, Juno Smith, explosive. Green Bay, they explosive with Aaron Jones and You know, Aaron Rodgers once was a dynamic threat at quarterback, but Devontae Adams, explosive threat down the field. We seen Morstead, explosive. Debo Samuels, explosive. Emmanuel Sanders, still explosive. Kittles can be explosive as a tight end. The wave of the NFL is explosive athletes and speed. It's always been about speed. The Lions lack speed at every level on offense. We don't include the offensive line here. They lack speed at receiver. You know what I'm saying? People say, well, what about Marvin Hall? Marvin Hall is not a staple of offense. He's a good receiver. He's somebody that you got to develop. But you can't say go out there and be Deshaun Jackson or Tyreek Hill or somebody like that. Now, Galladay is, he got some straight speed, but he shouldn't be the fastest player in your receiving core. Okay? Amendola, he not running by nobody. Good route runner. He's just he's just another, possession receiver. Marvin Jones at this point in his career, possession. Anytime that Matthew Stafford has to throw the ball to a lot of these guys, there's really not a lot of separation unless it's a pick play, a double move, or whatever such situation may be. Matthew Stafford really can't throw it to these receivers on a slant route and they can take it to the house. He can't throw a bubble screen and jailbreak screen and throw it to the house. He can't throw a screen to a running back and they take it to the house. This offense is very, very slow, and Amendola doesn't help that cause. Stafford is the point in his career where he should be able to, do a Tom Brady and throw a 5-yard route and they be able to get yak and get a touchdown. That's what made Kansas City so dangerous. Kansas City is, Frederick, what's going on? Kansas City is very, very dangerous because, it's hard to defend them. The Lions, you're not worried about nobody really running past you on the Lions. That's one of the reasons I had a problem with Theoretic is because who is Theoretic running by? On the Lions team, who is really getting down the field and running by somebody? And even the deep balls that Stafford throw, they still contested. They just jump balls. And, Marvin Jones, position or Galloway getting position to catch those balls. That's my problem with it. This team is like slow on both sides of the field. And it's crazy, man. He said, I think the media didn't like him from the beginning because of the allegations came out a few months ago. Well, get a job. Josh McDaniels the same way. Think about it. Yup. He did the right thing, retired since they won't trade. No, he didn't retire. They released him. He's still playing. Damon didn't retire. He got released. Amendola got 700 yards last season with Driscoll and Blog throwing the ball. Those were the last 8 games. Remember, Galladay had like 5 steps on this man against Green Bay in the first game, and he lacked the speed that matters. Yup. Activate Brandon Powell. Brandon Powell is with the Atlanta Falcons now here. I think he's with the Atlanta Falcons. That's what they say. Okay, but stats can be deceiving. You can say, he had 800 yards here and there, and he missed some games. But they just lack the speed offensively. It was like you bring back a 35-year-old receiver, and who he gonna run by? You know what I'm saying? Who do you got on the receiving core that's gonna run by somebody? That Stafford can just chuck it up there and he can run under the ball. That's my problem. They just don't have enough team speed, and Amendola don't help the case. Just another possession receiver. They got 3 possession receivers, in my opinion. They have 3 possession receivers that really ain't going to run by nobody. Galladay need a receiver next to him that can take the top off the defense. You know what I'm saying? They need somebody that's electric, but I get it. He's a veteran guy. He vibe with Matthew Stafford. He know how to get open. He know how to find the holes in the zone. He know how to come back. He know how to run back to the quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But this team is just like crazy slow on both sides of the field. Crazy slow. Really, really slow. See a lot of truth I'm worried about next season. The draft will tell us we'll see a better picture once the draft is over. The Lions should give Stafford to Dallas, get Dak, and Amari. Just the idea. Well, Amari is not under contract. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, Amari not under contract. He's a free agent. In fact, they're willing to trade Stafford and draft Tua and get extra picks via trading Stafford. shows they are not serious. Well, man, trading Stafford would hurt their free agent situation, but we'll get there. Now we hope Galladay can repeat his performance this year and even thrive even more. I think you as good as the players around you too. You know what I'm saying? So will Stafford have the time to throw to him? Will Marvin Jones get old overnight with Amendola? Be able to step it up this year? So that's the question. Yeah, he does need somebody like CD Lamb. Like that'd be a good pickup, or Jerry Jeudy. I mean, that'd be the perfect pick. Somebody, like Marquise Hollywood Brown with the Ravens would be somebody like that can really, take the top off the. Stafford need that. Stafford just can't be, going on 15, 20 play drives and just, nickel and diming up the field. You know what I'm saying? What made Kansas City so potent is, before you blink, they got 21 points because they either can take, short routes to the house, or they can throw a lot of deep passes and they put a lot of pressure on the defense. That's how you come back in the Super Bowl. The offense is explosive. The Lions have not one explosive athlete on offense. That's proven. Another thing is the Lions are too small on both sides of the ball. KJ Hamler, I've been saying that. Not just for speed, but football speed. We need to get. Well, hey man, Jerry Jeudy is like a football player with track speed. I like him a lot, but that's a luxury pick. Vash said, I hope Stafford has an epic comeback season. You never know, but I haven't seen us be in first place in our division and owning it in like forever. Well, I really wouldn't. I mean, it depends on how they smash it this offseason. I really don't have any playoff ambitions for this team. It's just too much of an uphill battle. I mean, you look at the team with you only have one offensive lineman. I think that's on the books this year as far as that's what's starting last year. Other than Dow and Wiggins. You look at the receivers, you see Marvin Jones a year older, Danny Amendola a year older, Galladay ready to get his money. You look at the running back position, there's no speed back there. There's no durability back there. Look at the defensive line. You got two guys there, Hand and Flowers. That's probably going to start. Kennard, I'm not sure what's going on with him. He may come back. They probably bring him back. Tavai Davis. You might get rid of Darius Slay and Tracy Walker. Will Harris will start in safety. Can you expect them to make the leap next year? Marty Rice. A lot of this team, even though Bob Quinn has turned over a lot of the talent, he hasn't turned over talent with talent, to be honest. They haven't replaced Ndamukong Suh. They haven't replaced Ziggy Ansah yet from at his best. They still ain't find really good linebackers. DeAndre Levy had one good season and then he ended up getting injured. So, Bob Quinn is not good at evaluating talent. I'll tell you that right now. But let's talk about free agent. We talked about Amendola. I just really think that was it just wasn't a good signing. Just think he too slow, man. But that's what I think. He probably, they're going to take care of the Patriot guys for sure. They're going to take care of those guys for sure. But not saying it's the worst signing, but like I said, man, I'm envisioning a team basically being rebuild. That's how I look at it. If you move on from Harrison and you move on from Slay, to me, that's your two best defensive players. It's a rebuild. That's just how I see it. But, to talk about the free agents, I don't really think nobody going to want to come here and play for Patricia. I think Calvin Johnson said it. I think Glover Quinn said it. I think Chase Billingsley said it. Hakeem Vallis said it. And I think Richard Sherman said it. I think Quadre Diggs is saying, I think Detroit has never been a sexy destination for free agents. Not because Detroit is a bad town. I believe that it hasn't been a sexy. It's not. It was really. I just think the organization it gives the Lion the organization hurts itself. You know what I'm saying? They don't put a winner out here. People know if they come to Detroit, if you don't win, you don't get the notoriety. You won't get known for Pro Bowls. Look how you have what's the dude? Lomas Brown. said that it hurt me going to the Hall of Fame for me playing with the Lions. You see how they do Barry Sanders. It's not that people wouldn't want to come to Detroit and play. It's the simple fact that the organization, it hurts itself. He said the entire linebacker core is trash. Dre Chili, he says O-line horrid. The D-line has totally revamped. I appreciate you for keeping a real total rebuild. He also says, I rarely hear anybody talk about how many missed tackles and the fact that the entire linebacker core is terrible. Vest said, yeah, one day you sure speak the truth and always make great points. And Troy's talking to him. Frederick, he said, I agree with you on that. Bob Quinn hasn't evaluated talent with talent. Nope. He turned over, but he turned over with a lot of pedestrian talent. Unless you was born before 93, that's the last time we won the Central Division at the time. Don't hold your breath. Yup, it wasn't even NFC North at the time. Those guys don't want to come back to Detroit seriously. Michael said they should get Van Noy back. Lord Lennox said the only difference between this season and 0-16 was the 3-1 games and the draw we had with Arizona. With Stafford said, trust me, we should have won the game. Let's draft Tua and allow Stafford to show him the ropes. Won't be anything like Bama, but it would be good for Stafford to be Alex Smith to Pat Mahomes or Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Slade still getting the Pro Bowl selections though. Free agents don't like the way Detroit handled their business, if you can even call it business. The Force are cheap. That was Frederick. This is Dre. Georgia cheap and don't really want to win. It's about turning profit. They are Donald Sterling's Clippers of the NFL. Yep, I agree with that. And yeah, they don't handle business the right way, man. They don't treat their players the right way. They treat everybody like a number. They run this organization like a car factory. You know, everybody is just a number, man. And, you know, until they change that and they become a player-friendly organization. And this was the worst actual match for the Lions, you know what I'm saying, with Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. Patricia is not a player's coach. He's a hard ass. You got an organization that's not player-friendly. But I don't think top free agents going to want to come here unless they overpaid to come here. And when they get overpaid to come here, they stop caring about winning. And Mark Mayhew did a pretty good job with the free agency. I think Glover Quinn and Golden Tate was two of the best free agent pickups the Lions had, you know, last decade. I think they were the two best. Glover Quinn overachieved here. Golden Tate overachieved here. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you get high in the draft like they are 3, they usually smash it there. Stafford, Johnson, and Dominican Sue. You know, so I mean, just looking at the whole scenario in the free agency, you know, it's not a lot of top players. You know, it's not a lot of top players that may be there. That's there. Let me pull it up. I have it pulled up. So you're looking at, you know, Prescott, he'll be franchise, and Tom Brady, Drew Brees, I doubt it. Ryan Tannehill, he'll probably be franchise. Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, he seems like a guy where you pay him and he get injured, not a good pick. Amari Cooper, I think he'd be a nice pick, but you already said a receiver unless you trade Marvin. Chris Jones, I mean, he'd be franchise. Byron Jones, he wants the same money as Darius Slade. Bannon Sheriff, I heard they're going to franchise him. AJ Green, not a good fit. A kid from Jacksonville, I don't really know him. I think he's pretty good. He ranked 11. Shaq Barrett. So Eric Armstead. I think a lot of dudes just would choose to take less money and go other places, man. I just think, you know, Patricia has really created a even more toxic aura about the organization, man. And, you know, I wonder what, you know, if he a classic macho, arrogant guy where he won't change, or he will get fired before he change, or can he really change? Can he really change it around and try to be a player friendly coach? But like I said, I mean, big free agents never come here, but a lot of times big free agents never paying out neither. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. The best way to build your team is through the draft. It's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? It's more cap friendly. So the thing about it is, Bob Quinn ain't never been smashing the draft before. He's a very, very conservative drafter. How many times have he moved down? The mother lover can be 24. He'll move down to 27. You know what I'm saying? He drafts need over talent. We've seen him before. He passed up on Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? He passed up on Alvin Kamara. He's passed up on numerous running backs. He passed up on numerous players. He drafts need over talent. That's evident. You know what I'm saying? And if he drafting talent over need, then it doesn't work out neither. You look at him taking T.J. Hockenson last season over Devin Bush. Devin Bush was the better player. He was going to be the more impactful player. He takes a tight end at number 7 when you could probably have 2 top linebackers going forward with Tavai and Bush. That's another thing I notice about the Lions. They never focus on one unit and build it all together. You know what I'm saying? They never say, okay, let's fill out the linebacker core. Let's get one in free agent. Let's draft 2 and build it up. They don't do it. To be honest, Bush would have been a huge help this year. It would have improved team speed. You put him with Tavai, you would have had your Spielman and Boyd for years to come. You know, it's crazy. Trey Flowers, that was a waste of money. You know what I'm saying? You could have found somebody to do what Trey Flowers did last season easily for cheaper. But he just want Patriot guys, bro. I don't even think it's a system fit. I just think he want guys that play for New England. Justin Coleman, he went out there and got baptized, not because he a bad football player. They paid him all that money. So are you surprised if Justin Coleman come here and get record slot corner money, and y'all complain about Darius Slay wanting to get paid? Come on, man. They paying everybody but him. They paying everybody but him. They paid Snacks. They extended Snacks. They paid Coleman. They paid Flowers. Did Flowers make a Pro Bowl last year? No. Has he ever made a Pro Bowl? So, you know, all that plays into the psyche of football players. It do. All that factors in to what Darius Slay thinking. Like, shit, if this motherfucker getting $89 million, I'm at least worth $16 million per year. They paid Snacks Harrison and didn't give me an extension. All that's going through people's mind. And people say, oh, and that's why Ndamukong Suh left. Because they didn't want to pay Suh. Suh wanted to overcharge the Lions. He took less money to go to Miami. But he wanted to overcharge the Lions to stay here. They ain't handle business well. You know, and it's unfortunate though. And they got the fans that's gonna sit here and they gonna turn a profit over regardless. No matter how sorry the Lions be. If the Lions were the UPN Pistons in the 90s, that's when they used to come on that network, and they got that type of attendance, the Fords would have probably been sold. The only way the Fords gonna sell this team if they take a loss in the pockets. Martha Foote should have stepped in and kept the Lions from taking their money from Calvin Johnson. Her not doing that proves she is not different than William Clay. Exactly. I see a few defensive players. I was Laura Lennox. And choice, I see a few defensive players Lions could go after without overpaying them. Michael said we couldn't get Devin McCourty. He a Patriot. Yeah, he ain't never leaving New England probably. Lions are a toxic organization. Mr. McKinney don't see any free agents coming here. He said if they do, they have to overpay. You know, that's always been that. Michael Jones, Quinn is and has been more focused on tearing down what Caldwell and Terrell Austin put together when they clearly seen defensively the scheme fit and the talent. All that was needed was more impact. Yep. That's all he did. Was tear down with Caldwell. But he was hell-bent on not keeping Caldwell. I think he had a handshake agreement before he took the job he was going to bring Patricia on. It wasn't nothing broke with what Caldwell was doing, but the play calling. You put Darrell Bevel there with Caldwell, you probably got a playoff win. Yes, rule one, never draft need over talent, a la Dumar's goofy self. Michael say, Jones say, a lot to be added to it, but it didn't have the same energy for them as he has for Patricia. You can hate me now. McKenzie, exactly. Patricia said small linebackers don't fit his scheme, but none of linebackers can cover. Right. And none of them got no speed other than Davis. Davis is a small linebacker, though, as far as stature, as far as height, excuse me. For middle. He wants Pedro player, big play soon. Coleman let his cleats have fire field. I think you mean Ford Field. Rumor has it, dude got burned on every deep ball this year. One thing about I loved about Martin Mayhew and Tyler Wine is that they both took risks on finding the free agents. Hard to cover with no pressure. Trey Flower needs another pass rusher to dominate. Exactly, I agree. Yep, I think that's everybody. Even Von Miller got Bradley Chubbs. Before they had DeMarcus Ware, and they had Shaq Barrett buried, the sack leader buried on the bench for a few years there. That's crazy. I think they live worried that Slade might fall off from 30. True. Slade leaves, he won the Super Bowl the same season. Mark my word, Michael Jones. I wouldn't be surprised. Would you trade Slade for my New York fourth pick? New York wouldn't do that. That's too high. Too high of a pick. Let me try to see how Quinn is going to blow the third pick. I heard they probably going to trade down. Let this sink in. You never beat Brett Favre. You never beat Lovie Smith, era Bears. You never beat Randy Moss, Vikings. Then running back, currently Aaron Rodgers era, dude, nameless Vikings era, Bears beat you. Problem was Mayhew couldn't draft. Nope. They brought Brian Sanders in. He had one good draft. Yup. None of these dudes can draft. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick can't draft if you look at it. Remember one year he took Marcus Easley out of Florida. I don't even think that dude ever touched the field. Bill Belichick couldn't draft. Bill Belichick just famous for refurbishing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. That's all Bill Belichick was known for. He can't draft. Probably look last year. How many draft picks he picked that fit out? And don't give me, they took Tom Brady. That was a luck. Bill Belichick can't draft. Bill Belichick just got a system that worked. That's like you at work, you got a system will make sure you get done with your work fast enough to optimize your time. So they got an organization who don't draft and who cheap. That's it. Man, like I said, I don't have no hope for the Lions next year. None. I don't trust Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia to in a make or break year, which it really ain't. As long as they win more than 3 games next year, they gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? They need to force Martha Ford to blow it up. Now, if they don't go out there and they have a draft like they did last year, and they don't do much in free agency, and these dudes go out here and they buy these season tickets and they sell out again, man, it ain't gonna never change. It's never gonna change. Never gonna change. Most NFL teams miss on half their picks. But they hit on half. The Lions ain't missing on half. Hockenson last year, we know tight ends develop slow. That wasn't a hit. In the second round, who they picked? Was it Tavai in the second? Let's just go through his draft history real quick. Let's go through it real quick. And I'll do a quick Q&A. Okay. Last year, they took Hockenson, Tavai, Will Harris, right? Austin Bryan. He didn't really touch the field, I don't believe. Amari Rockley in the 5th. That was a good pick. Travis Fulgham, he got cut. And I think he brought back on the practice squad. Todd Johnson didn't do much. Isaac Nuatah, Todd didn't do much. P.J. Johnson, I don't think he did much. So, nobody really had a successful season. Amari Rockley, he got healthy down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? He played 9 games, and he had a good quarter of the season. Will Harris, he had one good game this season. Tavai was up and down. And Hockenson had one good game this season. You go back to the year before that. Ragnow, solid. Kerryon, he had a good rookie year. He ain't really done much since. Tracy Walker, he's solid. Hand, he been injured. Terrell Crosby, he filling in where he can. So that was okay. The year before that, Jared Davis, trash. Tease, trash. And hold on. My bad. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, not that good to me. Roberts off the team. Agnew, he had a better year returning. Ledbetter, K out. Pat O'Connor not here. Year before that, Taylor Decker, not that good. Robinson, not that good. Graham Glasgow, solid. Killebrew, not that good. Joe Dow, Antoine Woods, Jake Ruda, Anthony Zettel, he doing well in San Francisco, didn't do shit here. Jimmy Lance and Dwayne Washington. Before that, Lincoln Tomlinson, he was trash here. Good in 49ers. Amir Abdullah, garbage. I think that was a Mayhew draft, I think. Yeah, that was a Mayhew draft. Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, you look at the picks that he hit this year, I mean, it's premature. But the ones that look good is Arakwe and Tavai so far, and I think Hawkinson is going to be okay. You know, so it's hard to tell, man, this year. But, hey, you know, it is what it is. Got any questions, I answer them. Good of you thinking what the Senior Bowl are. They are thinking they got good picks in the sea or the boat. You go pick somebody stupid when you think that because the way they look at the Senior Bowl. I also Harris stepped up a bit after the man, he had that one good game, the last game of the year, man. Maybe he'll be good. I don't know. I don't know how many Boston College football players good. That's what Matt Ryan trashed up with. And then they took Will Harris. He from that North New England area. Forrest can't do nothing right. Just look at the Ford Field. You ain't lying. The year they picked Jared Davis was probably his worst year. You think? Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Yep. He took Michael Roberts over George Kittle. A lot of people don't know that. Frederick Salute. He took Michael Roberts over George Kittle's. Did y'all know that? Y'all can ask questions. I'll take a few questions for a couple minutes. He said, do you see them taking Okuda? Yeah, I can see that happening. I wouldn't do it. Not at number 3. Me personally, not at number 3, but yeah, Okuda a good player. We'll see how he do at the combine. A lot of things gonna change at the combine. A lot of guys gonna rise. Some guys gonna fall. Some guys gonna have bad medicals, questionable background, failed piss tests. That's just the combine. The top 10 won't be the same as you know it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what it is. What would you do with the O-line if you were the GM free agency? I would mix it up. I would take a veteran right tackle. Maybe I go Jack Conklin. He had one good year out of Michigan State for Tennessee, but he kind of fell off towards the end. If not, I would probably check out Anthony Costanzo. I'll put him at right tackle from Indianapolis. I would draft. I would probably bring back Graham Glasgow. If not, I would draft 2 guard. I would probably move back, take a left tackle, or try to. I got to really look at the draft board. I don't know who good as far as linemen, but I would probably take 2 big guards in the middle rounds. In left tackle, I would definitely look for a new left tackle. I would, but I would go veteran right tackle, probably 2 young guards and young left tackle, and I just let them jail. If not, I might take a veteran guard too. It's a one. I like Brandon Sheriff if he don't get franchise tag. That's the first guy I'll go after. He used to be a left tackle at Iowa. He would Washington. He can play. He play guard now. I like Brandon Sheriff, but I think they're gonna franchise tag him. But if I had it my way, I would go Conklin, Sheriff, draft a left tackle, draft a right guard. If not, I would probably bring back Graham Glasgow because he has value at center and he has value, with versatility at center and guard. So, yeah, that's what I would do. But it's really not gonna pan out that way. If it does pan out, I probably would have to take Costanos and Conklin is a hometown guy. I'll probably take Costanzo at right tackle and then I fill out the rest probably in the draft. Who would you draft in the first round? It's too early. But if it is the way it is now, if I stay at number 3, I probably would take the quarterback. I probably would try to hope Burrows fall down, or I would probably move back. I would probably move back. If I didn't believe in 2, I would probably move back. If not, if I stayed at 3, I don't know. I don't know what they really looking for scheme wise, but if it's just my team, I probably would take Chase Young. If he wasn't there, I probably just take the quarterback. That's what I would do. Quarterback. Would you trade for Vaughn? No, I wouldn't. Now we can draft Chase. Appreciate it, Keith Rowe. Appreciate the love. Aaron Choice, would you give a late first? How you gonna rephrase that? For real, we need to bolster. You need those, like, I like the way Dallas built their line in the 90s. I like how they built now. Strong. You need the run game is what really been holding the Lions back. If they can get a good run game going, man, that would compensate for lack of speed too. The things that I would look at in the draft is I would look for a running back in the second round. Dobbs, Swift, Taylor. First round, I just take the best available talent. But 2, I'd see how his medical check out. That's just me personally. Detroit would have to pull the Chicago Cubs. They didn't get good until they finally stopped going to games and sold the team. Yeah, yep. And that's a historic franchise, too. And they got Theo Epstein in there, man. Now, that's what people got to do, man. But the Detroit Lions are the lovable losers of Michigan. People go from high and wide to watch these games. And that's one of the reasons they put them downtown. 2 is going to be a star. This is going to suck watching him blow up somewhere else knowing we had a chance to take him. Yeah. Yeah, it could be less of a star if we suck this year and get Trevor Lawrence. Would you draft a receiver? After bringing back Amendola, I probably wouldn't. I would like the 2 receivers in the first round, CD Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy, your favorite player I've seen in the draft so far. I like him the most. Yep, I like Jerry Jeudy the most. Forrest not selling the team until Miss Ford leave this earth. Nice way of putting that. I definitely concur. Yep. Static Major, what's going on? Nobody likes Herbert. I love Herbert. I'm one of the few. I would probably trade back. I thought about it before I said it. Trade back and take Herbert. I like Herbert. Strong kid. People don't like him in Detroit because he went to Oregon. They putting Joey Harrington shortcomings on him. But it'd be a good situation for him. Sit behind Stafford and learn the system. It definitely would be a good situation for him. He got to get used to coming under center, his drops, and, Darryl Bubble do good. He athletic, tall, good arm, a little bit problem with the accuracy, but Stafford got a problem with accuracy too. Jerry is an old school receiver, catches the ball with his hands, and is a good route runner, and he's explosive. I like Herbert. I think Herbert going to be good. I could be wrong. Big kid too, man. Athletic. I think Oregon kind of held him back a lot. But he got to get used to taking snaps on the center. But a lot of NFL teams, you don't have to do that no more. Darryl Bevell like going under center. Center allows you to read the defense first. When you in shotgun, you look down at the snap of the ball. Defense could change. So under center has a lot of advantages too. It allows the running back to get a head of steam and get some momentum going into the hole or, hitting the outside. That's why a lot of people like under center a lot. The whole shotgun thing, I think it's overrated. Trade down Simmons need to be there first round pick. I take Simmons at 3. If you believe in him. I heard Joey Harrington was a hell of a piano player. Could been. They destroyed him too. I didn't think Joey Harrington was good to begin with. Herbert got a bigger arm than Harrington, man. He got a bigger arm. I like him. I wouldn't mind if they took Herbert. For real. I think San Diego or Los Angeles, Chargers might take Herbert. For real. You get Herbert and you get him with a running back down the line, And people sleeping on Matthew Stafford, possibly not staying healthy. You know what I'm saying? He ain't been healthy, last couple years fully. So they might have to take a quarterback. But if they sorry this year and they get Lawrence next year, I'll take it. I'm not really fond of taking a corner at number 3, especially with their D-line. That's counterproductive. You got to build a D-line. That corner going to get cooked. Do you think we should have traded Stafford now? We can get something really... will you get something good for him? You better get something. You better get multiple draft picks for him. Because then that's 30-something million of your cap gone. That's the thing about it. They just fixed their cap space. So if you trade Stafford, then, you're going to have a veteran quarterback behind him. Behind a rookie. That's it. If it's Tua, then I don't think Tua physically ready to start your team next year. So it had to be Herbert or Joe Burrows or another quarterback. So if you trade Stafford, I think Tua need to sit behind somebody. That's why going to Miami might be good for Tua to sit behind Fitzpatrick and Rosen for a minute. But if you did trade Stafford, then you might want to call Miami and take Josh Rosen, keep Driscoll, and draft a quarterback. That would be my move. I would keep Driscoll. I would trade for Rosen just to have a safety net behind him and get a rookie. But we'll see. I like Jacob Dobbs there in the second round. We need to go. Yeah, I like him, Swift, Taylor, the kid from Utah. It's a lot of good guys there, man. A lot of good guys. Yeah, any more questions? Trade back and pick up Love. Yeah, I like Love. I don't know if he can really, progress and go through his progressions and read defense. He do a lot of deep balls. I don't think a cornerback is really a need this year. Linebacker, nose tackle, edge is more important. Yeah. I think they're going to bring back Devin Kennard, in my opinion. He said Snacks is as lazy as Drummond. Hey. Still believe Rosen will be good if you give him a chance. Yeah, believe. His mama don't believe in him right now. I'm joking. You think we should trade Carry-On? Nah. Not yet. If they want to. If you draft another running back, he the truth. But I just don't think they did enough to help him out with the line. I don't think they did enough to get the line together. But we'll see. We'll see if Patricia and Bob can cook up. We'll see what they can cook up, man. Putting numbers don't make you a good player. We need winners. Should bring back Sue. I thought about it, but Sue hates this organization. He still got property here, though. Sue hates this organization. He was real angry at them, man. But I think when a new ownership come in, I think it'll be nice. They really need to do a new stadium though, because Ford Field was supposed to be it was supposed to be better than what it is. You go to other stadiums, man, it's way more high tech. You know what I'm saying? But I think everybody forgive them if they put a better product on the field. We in the corner if we trade Flay. If we trade spots with Miami, who would you pick to take with our second pick in the first round? Depends who there. Gotta think about it. Maybe a running back if it's a late pick. Yeah, him and Rip Hamilton own a bunch of property in St. Clair. Yeah. I ain't know about Rip. I know Calvin, he got a dispensary he opened in here. Yep. They still got a double team. Still probably want to go to a winner at this point. Tampa had a good defense last year. And Jameis just kept throwing a lot of picks. He got LASIK eye surgery. Jameis just threw a lot of picks last year. Who has the number one pick every number? He's the number one pick every number to play. Who has the number one pick? Cincinnati, I think if that's what you're asking. Heard Joe Burrows probably don't want to go there, so we'll see what happens with that, man. But hey, I'm gonna come back and probably talk some Piston basketball. That's gonna be a tough conversation. later on in the week, man. But hey, appreciate everybody for checking in. Check out our Detroit Lions one-on-one playlist for the first 4 episodes, man. So I'm gonna be back doing more lives, trying to get active on that note. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. All the information is in the description. Check out the channel out Goodfellas Sports TV as well too. Can we please get a backup quarterback? I doubt it. He said eye surgery won't help famous Davis. I'll be pulling for Jameis Winston. He crazy, man. Jim Allen will say Lions probably won't win 7 games this year. If they win 6 games, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn ain't going nowhere. They double their win total, they ain't going nowhere. But hey, we're gonna talk some more Lions and Pistons later in the week, man. Appreciate the love. We gone.